Living on Deprivation Island is bullshit. Hello, and if this is the first time we have met, welcome and nice to meet you. And if you've been here before, welcome back. Good to see you. I am Beth, and this is where I share my creative journey along the spiral path of life. Always evolving, always learning, and always exploring. Living on Deprivation Island is bullshit is a motto that I am taking into 2026. I mentioned it in my Welcome to 2026, Good Riddance to 2025 video, but if you missed it, let me explain a little bit. Sometime last year, I was listening to an audiobook, and that line struck me in this book. And just for the record, the book is called Quit Like a Girl, and I don't remember the author, but I will put that information here. And it is about quitting drinking and dealing with binge and drinking and alcoholism. Not something that I currently am experiencing or have dealt with, but it is something from my past, and the book was recommended to me for other reasons. I found it very interesting. And the whole point of this motto, this way of thinking, is that it's very easy when we are not allowed to do something that has brought us joy or brought us fulfillment, or at least something we thought was bringing us happiness, like bad habits, and we fear this feeling of deprivation. The lesson is that that's not true. That deprivation, what one may consider deprivation, another way to look at it is opportunity. And so many of you probably know, if you've been with me for a while, that no buy, no spend lifestyle basically has been my way of living for the last few years. So when I heard that line, I thought, aha, that sums up my approach to my creative life and my life in general. That I'm not looking at the limits that perhaps my personal budget gives me as deprivation, but as opportunity. And so today I would like to share 5 ways that I have found to live on Finding My Joy Island instead of Deprivation Island. And all of these ways are either free or very, very low cost. So let's get started, shall we? Now I know many, if not all of us, have a space somewhere like this. Our craft closet, our craft cabinet, our art supply bin, however much or wherever you store it, we probably all have this. And some of us have been collecting, or I think in an earlier video I said curating this collection for years, if not decades. So my first tip is to get in here and organize it. Go through it. See what's here. Most likely you're going to find supplies you forgot about, unfinished projects. Come on, let's be honest. We all have unfinished projects. So most likely in here, or in your closet bin or drawer, you're going to find something that you can repurpose, that you can finish, that maybe you no longer like that project and you can undo it and frog that sweater that you don't like anymore and reuse those supplies for something else. An added bonus of organizing your space and going through everything is that a neat, organized space, in my experience, makes creating easier. Chaos just adds to my ADHD brain. I can't focus. Well, I can focus on everything. That's the problem. I am focusing on a million different things when I open this closet. And if I organize it, then I know where things are when I decide that's what I want to do. or it just calms. A clean space, an organized space is a calm, productive space, in my experience. Okay, let's go on to tip number 2. The next free supply that you can use is to explore creative reuse. Things that normally would be considered trash can now become your art supplies. Consider using packaging like cereal boxes and cracker boxes and things like that for book covers, for junk journals. Additionally, your junk mail and things like that. You can use for collage, you can sketch on the back, you can paint, you can do all kinds of things with just the garbage that you normally recycle or throw away. Another thing you can do is your plastic bags from the grocery store. Cut those up and make them into what's called plarn or plastic yarn. And you can knit, crochet, weave, all kinds of interesting things. And there are some public, some volunteer opportunities for that as well. Keep the plastic out of our landfills and out of our water supply. Win-win for everyone. What other things? You can take your old clothes that have reached the end of their useful life, but you can make these little coiled baskets. I do have a video on how to do this out of old sheets, old clothes, all kinds of old fabrics. And again, fabric waste is a huge problem in our environment right now. So every little bit of fabric and old clothes, textiles, all that we can keep out of our landfills and being shipped overseas to other countries where it's causing problems, the better. So do your part. Another free supply, not necessarily junk or garbage, but go out in your yard, in your community, and forage for plants. You can use them for natural dye stuffs. Actually, garbage-wise, you can take the peels from your onions and the skins from your avocados and other kitchen waste and use as natural dyes as well. And I do know some weavers that use fibers that they find, daylily leaves, banana skins, things like that to make natural weaving. So there's lots of free supplies just out there for you to forage, to garbage pick, but do it from your own garbage probably. Although, if you're out on a walk and you pick up some litter, maybe there's a way you can safely reuse that litter in a collage or a weaving or something. Just get creative and let those juices go in your brain and see what you can use those other things for. Another way that you can make the best use of your time and your materials is to just doodle. Whenever you have a minute, whenever you're waiting for something, just grab a piece of junk mail or an envelope or the back of your grocery list and get that pen out of the bottom of your purse or the cup holder in your car and just, I don't know, sketch a little something. Maybe, there's something interesting sitting there, as you're sitting there, you can just sketch a little something. Or you could do Zentangles or doodles, or maybe explore an idea that you have for a bigger project, just while you're sitting there. Or sometimes, for me, you never know when an idea is going to strike. A color combination or something like that. So just jot it down or sketch it and use your junk mail. Use, like I said, the back of your receipts or the back of your grocery list, shopping list, something like that. I remember my mother standing at the kitchen counter, of course this was back in landline days, having a little pad of paper or junk mail, and she would just sketch all the time, little faces of women and just little things like that, little doodles of flowers and vines. It's free, it's fun, and it keeps those creative muscles working and kind of, little things percolating to the top, and you're there to record them. The next tip I have for you is use the good stuff. We've probably all done that thing where you've started a new hobby or tried a new medium and you've kind of practiced for a while and you think you're getting better and you've been influenced by the art hall videos and things like that, and you bought the good stuff. You're like, oh, I'm ready, I'm in, I'm all in on this. You have all these things that you have invested time and money in acquiring and having, but you feel like you're not quite ready. You have a little imposter syndrome that your watercolors aren't Arch's watercolor paper worthy yet. And that's not true. For one, using better supplies is more joyful, brings more joy, makes the process easier. Now, I know in another tip I said use junk, use your garbage, and that's true. But on the other hand, the other side of that is that using better materials will bring better results, and then you will feel more confident in the work that you're doing, especially if you already have it. I'm not telling you to go out and order pads of Arch's watercolor or, you know, the fanciest sewing machine or something like that. But if you've already invested in it, use it. And also, from my experience, you put this stuff on the shelf and you put it away for someday, for when I'm better, for when I have something that's worth using that product for, that material for. And then you finally decide, this is it, I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna get that off the shelf and I'm gonna make something special with it. And you pull it out and it's damaged, it's expired, the glue is all dried up, the paint pans or the tubes of paint are all stuck and crusty and separated, whatever it might be, because you didn't use it. And now it truly is a waste. You've spent time, you've spent money, and you've spent space storing it for however long, and it was a waste. It's useless. So go ahead and use it, because your art deserves it and is worth it, and you deserve it and are worth it. Now, my fourth tip for you is to get out there and share your skills and your knowledge with the greater community. One great way to do this is to volunteer in your schools or youth programs. Art programs in many school districts are woefully underfunded, if they even still exist. So there are opportunities for you to take the things that you know, the skills, the knowledge and abilities, artistic abilities out there into your community and help our kids. And also an added benefit of that is working with kids. Their imagination is phenomenal and it will spark, I guarantee it, it will inspire you to look at things from a different perspective and maybe even look at your supplies and how you do your art differently. And an added benefit I have found of teaching art and craft and hobbies is that it makes you think like a beginner. And I actually kind of think that beginners sometimes can make better teachers than some of us who have been doing this so long we don't even remember how we learned. But if you take the effort to really break things down and could say, if this was the first time I learned how to knit, crochet, watercolor, what would I need to know? What techniques, what are the foundational techniques that I need? And that can really kind of reset our creative brains. And because sometimes we forget what we've already forgotten. There are people out there who have forgotten more than I know about a particular craft or art. And I think sometimes I'm like that too. So going back and looking at things from a beginner's eye really can help spark something in us. Another way to share your skills and your knowledge is to just join a group, a hobby group. And sometimes your library, if your park district, your church, they might have just little groups. You know, the little sit and stitch groups that meet sometimes. I know when I have taken the time to do that, somebody else's project, their color combinations, their a technique that I didn't know will spark something in me and remind me, oh, I've always wanted to try that technique, and now I know somebody who can show me how to do it. And vice versa, back to teaching. You may be doing something that somebody else in the group has always been interested in, and you can swap knowledge. And also, an added free bonus, you could maybe swap supplies. Buy something in bulk that you can share with them. I don't know, there's so many ideas, but it gets you out there and it gets you into the community, and it honors the knowledge that each and every one of us has, and it shares it with others. Now, before we get to our fifth and final tip, I'd like to ask that if you've enjoyed watching this video, maybe you've gotten some tips and ideas from it, that you take just a second to like, subscribe, and comment. How about in the comments you tell me which of the 5 tips resonated the most with you that you are planning to use, or maybe you have a tip that I didn't think of that you can share with the community. That would be wonderful. And if you would like to support me and this channel further, you can buy me a thread over at my Ko-fi account, or join our community on Patreon, or memberships here on YouTube. The links for everything will be in the description of this video, as well as some QR codes at the very end of the video. My fifth and final tip for you today is to use the free resources available to you within your community, namely your public library. Don't sleep on old books. And there might be some things that have been on those shelves at the library for a while, but the information is still really good. Also, often libraries have an annual book sale, so you could find some very inexpensive books there. But in addition to like pattern books, there are biographies of artists. There are art books, you know, the compendiums of artists' work that you can go through and be inspired. In addition to what we expect to find at our library, which are books, there are community opportunities for classes and workshops and lectures. And sign up for those, support those, because if people don't go to them, they quit having them. So go, support your public library. Also, often at your public library, there will be community groups, that knitting group, that watercolor group, that book club that I mentioned in a previous tip, often meets at your library. So check with your librarian and say, you know, are there any groups? And if there aren't, maybe you can start one. Maybe other people have come to the front desk at the library and said, you know, I would really like to join, you know, some kind of art group, some kind of creativity group, some kind of, you know, whatever it might be, and there isn't one. But if enough of you ask and you say, hey, has anybody else been interested? They can tell you, why, yes, we have had some interest in that. So that's your sign to start something. And finally, there may be other free or low-cost options within your community. Park districts, cultural art organizations, museums, just to name a few. So get out there and look and see what you can find and enjoy your artistic journey for little to no cost. I hope that today's video gave you some ideas, gave you some inspiration, and gave you some hope that in today's economy, in today's challenging times when many of us are struggling just for the basic necessities of life, that you can find a way to support your artistic habit and remember that art and making things is a basic necessity of life. So once again, peace out, love you lots, take care of yourself, and we'll see you soon. Bye.